y'all, it's Micayla, Final Curls if you didn't already know, and today I'm bringing y'all a straight up tutorial. I am gonna tell y'all how I take down my twist for a twist out, and I have my twist out looking fresh, clean, so fresh and so clean, all that, and you know, just not having a super frizzy, not divine twist out, and any of that. You know, you want it to come out as best as it possibly can, and I'm here to tell y'all how to do that. But before I actually do that, there's the big red subscribe button, the like button, the bell notification button if you want to go the extra mile. All of that is at the bottom of the screen. If you just exit out the full screen and take like 5 seconds to hit all that, you know, I'll give you some time to get it together on this channel. No pressure, but it wouldn't hurt if you would just take a couple seconds to just hit those buttons real quick. Just saying. But yeah, let's get into it. So I've had these twists in for about a little over a week, I think. So yeah, I did mini twists, which honestly, looking at these now, I feel like these aren't that many. I feel like I could have did these smaller, but I'm gonna still call them mini twists because they're smaller than the normal size I would do. Yeah, they're definitely smaller than like what I normally do, so I would still consider them mini twists, you know. But yeah, I've had these in over a week, and it's just time to take them out because I want to be able to wear this as a twist out before my scalp is all messy and acting up and it's time to wash my hair. I want to at least enjoy a twist out before I have to wash my hair, basically. So I'm going ahead and taking these out now. So I'm taking this Dual Grow Mega Thick Formula Hair Oil just because I use this oil all the time and I don't have any problems with it. But this was the closest oil in my vicinity. And you know, I have about 3 or 4 oils in my stash of hair products right now. And since this is the closest one, this is what we're using today. So I'm gonna take some and put it in my hands. And I'm gonna rub my hands together. And what I'm actually gonna do first is I'm gonna take some of these ends and coil them. Since I've been styling these twists, my ends sometimes they get stretched out, and I want my ends to be, you know, a little bit curly before I go ahead and take these out. And it's best to do that with oil so that you don't create any unnecessary frizz, which if I really need to, I will spray the ends with water, but I'm really trying not to do that here since I'm literally about to take them out and water causes frizz. So you can do the same thing with water, but the thing is, if you use water, you have to wait for your ends to dry so that when you take down your twist, the ends won't be frizzy, if y'all get what I'm trying to say. So yeah, it's mainly like these ones in the front that got stretched out because sometimes I like put my hair in ponytails, like a high ponytail, and that requires me to use like the whole twist, like the front twist like barely making it into the ponytail, so that causes the ends to get stretched out. So I'm just trying to coil them real quick. Now I am putting all of my hair up because I like to have all my twists out of the way while I am trying to take down each individual one, especially when they're like small. And I just like to pull them out of the scrunchie as I go. So I'm gonna put more oil in my hands. You can never have too much oil when you're taking down these twists, to be honest, because the whole idea is when you have oil in your hands, that makes it easier to take them apart without causing frizz. So the more oil, the better. You know, oil is not gonna hurt you. So what I'm doing is, let me get all close up, all up in your business so y'all can see. But what I'm doing is I'm like twisting it in the opposite direction so that I could find an opening, and I put my finger through it and I just pull it apart. And it's really that simple. And normally, well, it depends on how I'm feeling. It depends on how I'm feeling because sometimes I will separate as I go, and other times I will take out all the twists and then I'll separate them however I see fit, like when I'm just, I'll just take out the twists first and not do anything to them until I've taken all the twists out. So I think I'm gonna do the first thing I said and just separate them as I go. But like y'all see, it's already separating by itself. So all I'm doing is pulling it apart wherever I see gaps at. Like, and you can even like just do that real quick and it'll create some gaps. And you can separate it as much as you want to. But just keep in mind that the more you separate, the more frizz you get. Especially when you're pulling it apart at a spot where there's not really a opening to do that. So just like, you really got to pay attention to what you're doing, because if you want to create frizz, then just separate it however you want to. But if you want it to still be like crazy to find and stuff, you want to separate it where you see the gaps at and not just anywhere, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'm gonna get through some of these and then I'm gonna show y'all again and drive the instructions home for y'all. But for now, y'all just get to watch what I'm doing, and hopefully, watching will help internalize it for you, or maybe you just want to do it along with me or something, I don't know. But for now, I'm just taking some down myself and y'all just get to watch, okay? So this is one side done. Y'all see the definition. I don't even need to explain it. The thing with Twistouts is when you're taking your twist out, you definitely you gotta take your time. You gotta be patient and you gotta actually look at what you're doing, because otherwise you might just be taking them apart and just creating frizz, and it could be prevented. It really could be prevented. So I'm about to show y'all again and give y'all some more tips along the way. But like a lot of the time, frizz happens because when we twist, a lot of the time like one piece ends up being longer than the other, so you end up having to borrow hair from a longer strand so that you can keep the twist going. And so no big deal when the twists are in, but when it's time to take them out, it creates like not a tangle, but like kind of so, because what ends up happening is you have to do like a little bit extra work to take it out without causing frizz, as opposed to like, no hair was borrowed and you can just slide a finger through the middle and boom, the twist is undone. So when I come across a twist, because there's been countless times where I've had to borrow hair to keep the twist going. So in fact, I think this is one of them. So yeah, so this is the piece that I gave to the other strand. And so when this happens, you can't just rip through the twist like that. You have to go beneath that knot and unravel it from there, and then it makes it easier to pull apart where the knot was. And like, that's literally it. A lot of people usually make the mistake of just like ripping through the knot, and that creates frizz. and it makes the twist out not look as good as it could. And also another thing is, you make sure you unravel all the way up to the top, and that the strands are completely separated at the top. Because when you don't separate it fully, what ends up happening is it creates more tangles in the long run. And because, you know, like when you pick the roots and stuff, and they're still connected, you definitely want to like make sure they're not connected at the root anymore, instead of, you know, being like this still, and then you trying to pick through it. That just creates more tangles, and you definitely don't want that. So make sure it's all the way unraveled to the very top, which also like makes it easier to not have so many like parts, because y'all see like there's like barely any parts here, and it just makes it less necessary to pick the roots out, because it's fully separated. Like there's no pre parts or anything like that. So, and another thing is, when it's like tightly coiled, I don't know if y'all understand me, but when it's like tightly coiled like this, you just kind of pull it apart, and sometimes you have to twist it in the opposite direction, or like twist it in the opposite direction enough so that you can separate it without causing more frizz. Because sometimes like the curl pattern is so set, especially towards the end where you have to coil it, so like you could separate it all the way till you get to like the bottom, and you're met with some resistance. So what you do is you either like pull it taut and then separate it, or you just twist it that way a little bit, or whichever is the opposite way that you twist it in, so that you can just pull it apart, and bam, like you're met with no resistance. And if you notice it's becoming harder to take down your twists, and like you're creating frizz and you're like, what, I'm doing everything right, blah 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 blah, why am I creating so much frizz, but I seem to be doing fine earlier, you know, that means you're probably running out of oil on your hands and you need more, which I need some more actually. Taking out your twist really isn't that complicated. You just got to be patient. Be patient with your hair. That's definitely like the key thing, I would say, when it comes to twist outs, braid outs, bantu knot outs, flexi rods, whatever, where it requires you to take it down and separate it. Be patient, pay attention to your hair, actually look at what you're doing and be observant. And you know, if a problem isn't something that I addressed, I don't want to say figure it out because that's kind of blunt, but like figure it out. If you don't want to create frizz, don't create frizz. If it's something you never encountered before, just, you know, problem solve. What else can you do to make sure that you're not creating unnecessary frizz? And I forgot what I was gonna say. Dang, I was on a roll. If there's something like a lot of people don't mention and you happen to come across it, like there's a tangle in your hair or something, you know, think like, what can you do? Just like in any other situation where, you know, you don't have a handbook or anything, what can you do to get yourself out of the situation? And the best thing I could say that applies to like anything regarding taking out twists, whether you have a knot or a tangle, or, you know, it's just harder to take the twist out than it should. Like, the best thing I could tell you is be gentle with your takedown. As long as you're gentle, you should be fine. That's all I really have to say about it. Don't just rush through taking down your twists, because honestly I do that pretty often, and my twist outs don't come out as good as they could be coming out, because I be rushing through the takedown process. And it's like, your twist outs could be way more defined if you just take your time. Take your time, make sure you got enough oil on your hands, and pay attention to what you're doing. And that's really it. And then, you know, once you start getting the hang of it, you can start moving faster, as long as you are paying attention to what you're doing. Because, you know, see, like, While I'm not like really paying attention to what I'm doing, I've been doing this for years. So I've developed the habit of just running my thumb through the gaps and just pulling it apart wherever it happens to pull apart at, or separate at, I mean. And it's that simple for me at this point. So it's not hard, it's just a habit, just habits that you gotta build over time. And it becomes easier and easier. Oh, y'all, look at this one. Look at it. That look good. Okay, I'm done. But just another huge tip that I want to reiterate, whenever you like stumble across a tangle or something, don't just rip through it. Like, that's the worst thing you can do. Just take your time, see what it actually is, and then go from there. But don't just rip through your hair thinking that your hair is just gonna stay defined, despite you just tearing through the curl pattern like that and the coil and everything. Like, no, take your time, see what exactly is disrupting the takedown, and problem solve it. You don't want to crash into a wall and then try to keep going through the wall. You want to stop and see, like, oh, there's a wall right here, how can I get around it? And you know, that's crazy because that doesn't just apply to hair, that's just life in general. Don't just rush through things. Actually try to figure out what's going on and see like what is the best way I can navigate this. Not me getting deep, this is just a hair tutorial, I'm sorry. But yeah, another thing I like to do is I like to coat the twist, or like just, you know, rub my hands on the twist and, you know, to get some oil on it. I just do that like as a habit. You don't really have to, but I mean, it helps because you're just putting more oil on your hair, and that's gonna make it easier to separate. So you don't have to do it, but if you want to, go for it. It's not gonna hurt you. Fun fact, the first actual style I learned how to do on my natural hair, besides the puff, that was literally like the only thing I knew how to do for like a year and a half. But the first actual like style that I learned was a Twistout. And it was by accident because one day I just decided to take my twist out. I just happened to have my hair in twists. I don't know. I guess that was my style for some reason, but I decided to take them out. And then I saw how it looked and I was like, oh, this is kind of cute. So I just went to school like that. And my friend complimented me. She said, I like your hair like that. I was like, oh, I guess I should wear my hair like this more often. And I did. And I just, over time, I ended up, you know, learning how to actually like do a twist out for real. And not just by accident, you know, coincidentally just taking out your twist and that being your curl pattern. I actually learned like how to separate it, how to pick the roots and everything. I learned how to do all that later, but I discovered the twist out by accident, to be honest. And now here I am, expert at it. See, there is like a hair strand wrapped around the coil, and there's no like handbook to getting around this. You just kind of have to do what you gotta do, which is what I was pretty much saying earlier. Do what you gotta do, problem solve, but don't just try to rush things. And especially when there's like a better way to do it. And you probably could have came up with a better way to do it if you weren't rushing things and you actually thought about it. But I might just have to let this one go. No. Oh yeah, the thing with twists is the longer you have them in, the more frizz that gets generated, and it'll be harder to take them out when they're frizzier than normal. So you don't want to take them out as soon as possible, but you don't want to wait too long because then it gets harder to take out because your hair is like super frizzy, and you know, the frizzier your hair gets, the more tangled. So you definitely don't want to wait too long to take them out, but also you don't have to take them out the next day either, especially when your hair's not dry. Definitely don't take anything out when your hair is not even dry, because the curl pattern has to form and it can't do that. Well, it can, but it won't stay when you take them out and your hair is still damp, which, you know, I got a full example of that on my channel. Check out my Bantu Not Out fail a complete fail because my hair was not dry whatsoever. Like, I don't know what I was thinking. I knew better, but I still just had to take them out. And my hair was just, it dried and the roots were not, there was no curl pattern. The only curl pattern was on the ends. So yeah, don't be me. Don't be me. Okay, so now that I'm done, I'm about to take the rest of this oil on my hands and smooth out all these flyaways that are on the top of my head. Now I'm taking this pick and I'm gonna pick out the roots so I can get rid of any parts that may happen to be there still. But I don't do too much picking on my first day. I just pick the roots. I don't really like pick out my actual hair until like it's like day 5 or something, like much later. Cause you know, it's the beginning. I still wanna have some definition and stuff. And it's definitely helped scratch my scalp, I'll say that much. And this is the final look, y'all. I must say I'm very pleased with these results. Like, I love me a good twist out. That's all I'm gonna say. I love me a good twist out. Especially when I take the time to actually like take down my twists properly, because a lot of the time I'm just kind of rushing, just trying to do it so that my hair can be out the next day. Especially like during the school semester and stuff, because I be having a lot of work to do, and I'm like, it's time to take my twists out, so I need to do it now, or otherwise I'm not gonna have time. So I just go ahead and do it. But I'm not really like, you know, actually taking the time to take them out properly so my twist out can be the best it can be. But honey, it's definitely possible, because y'all see these results, y'all see it, okay? That's all I'm gonna say about that. But yeah, that's all I have for y'all. Hopefully y'all enjoyed. Hopefully this definitely helped y'all, and you know, maybe you want to try twist out like right now. I really hope this helped y'all to better like understand how to take out twists and achieve the best twist out that you can achieve. Leave any questions, comments, compliments, concerns down in the comments and I'll get to them. But that is all I have for y'all. If you enjoyed this video, you can subscribe, you can like, you can hit the bell notification button and all that stuff. But you don't have to. I'm not forcing you to, because you know, but this is YouTube. And if you want to support your girl, you will go ahead and hit those buttons. No pressure, but pressure. You already know what to do. If you know you like my content, you want to see more, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Like my videos if you want to support and all that jazz. That's it, y'all. Remember to never stop growing, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.